Hey everyone, welcome to Board Game Essentials. My name is Kodai. Today I'm going to be teaching you Tsuro of the Seas. This is a tile laying game in which you're going to be navigating the seas, trying to avoid the Daikaiju, the gigantic monsters. Let me show you how to play. Whoa! Tsuro of the Seas is a tile laying game in which players try to navigate the seas while trying to avoid the monsters. Here's the setup of the game. Each player picks a colored ship to command, shuffle up the wake tiles, and deal out 3 wake tiles to every player. We've done this already. Stack the remaining tiles face down as a draw pile. Now we have to spawn monsters. Shuffle up the monster tiles and place them face down. Roll 2 dice to spawn a monster on the board. The numbers on the board correspond to the numbers on the dice. Place the monster face down, rotate the tile a couple times, and flip it face up. This is to ensure a random setup. The number of monsters you spawn at the beginning is dependent on the number of players. For a 2 to 4 player game, 6 monsters. For a 5 to 6 player game, 5 monsters. And for a 7 to 8 player game, 4 monsters. Let me show you how to spawn monsters now. So for example, if I rolled a blue 5 and a gold 2 right here, then I'm going to take the monster deck and I'm going to go across the 5 and the gold 2 right here. So it lines up there. You're going to spin the tile a little bit and flip it face up like that. This is going to continue for a little bit, so we'll speed this up. Now we're ready to play. The object of the game is to be the last remaining ship on the board. Players must navigate the sea using their wake tiles to avoid monsters and falling off the edge of the board. A turn will take the following steps in order. Roll both dice, add both numbers on the dice. If they equal 6, 7, or 8, then all monsters on the board move. If not, then continue as normal because the monsters are sleeping this turn. Aw. If the monsters activate, then in monster turn order, they all move according to what's shown on the dice. If monsters activate, then they're going to activate in the monster turn order, which is listed on the top right, and they move in ascending order. If there is a tie on which monster goes first, then the gold-colored monster goes first. To determine where the monsters are moving, first roll a single die, and on a 1 through 5, the monsters move left, right, up, down, or rotates 90 degrees, depending on what the tile says. The direction will be indicated on the tile. On a 6, you must spawn another monster. Follow the same procedure on how to spawn monsters as we showed you during the setup. The next thing you're going to do on your turn is you're going to place 1 wake tile in a way in which your ship travels along the lines. Move your ship along the newly placed tile and stop once you reach the end. If another player plays a wake tile and it would affect your movement, you move along that path immediately. If you did not fall off the board or crash into a monster, draw a new tile and that ends your turn. Let me take you through an example turn real quick. Okay, so let's say it's my turn and I'm going to start over here on this side of the board. So I'm going to roll both dice. And if it's a 6, 7, or 8, then the monsters activate. So it does, because we rolled a 7. So then you roll 1 die to see where the monsters are going, or if we're spawning a new one. So this one says 3. So now the monsters are going to be moving in the direction of 3, which is represented wherever it is on their tile. We're going to go in turn order, so this monster activates first, since it has a 1 on it. So the 3 for this one, it just moves this way. This one's actually over here. So this one goes up. This one goes here. We're going to rotate this guy. And then the gold one and the blue one are tied for position order out of 5. However, when breaking ties, the gold one always wins. So this one's actually going to move this way and destroy this other one. Like that. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to play a wake tile from your hand. And I'm going to play this one. And you're going to travel across like that. So then the last thing you do is just draw back up to 3. And that's what a typical turn looks like. So now that we know what a typical turn looks like, let's get into the specifics of monster movement. So there are a couple different things to remember when the monsters move. If they move onto a wake tile, then you remove it from the board and place it underneath the draw pile. If a monster moves onto a wake tile with a player's ship on it, remove the tile and the ship from the board. That player is eliminated. If it is the active player's turn and a monster moves directly in front of that player's ship, then he is immediately eliminated from the game because he can't move forward, there's a monster in the way. However, if you are not the active player and a monster moves directly in front of your ship, You are not eliminated yet because the monster still has a chance to move out of your path. Let me show you what I mean about what I just described. So let's say on my turn I rolled the dice, and I rolled a 6, 7, or 8. Like that. So I rolled an 8. That's not good because the monsters are going to move. So I roll the die. Let's pretend this rolled a 1, like that. And let's pretend I'm the yellow player who is the active player. So this monster is going to shift down like this. And since it's my turn and I have to play one of these wake tiles, I can't because this monster's in the way, so I'm immediately eliminated. So my ship's dead. However, the green player right here is safe because the monster still has time to move out of its way. So let's say on the next player's turn, they roll the die to see if it wakes up, and let's pretend it does. Let's say again it goes a 1. Well, the green player is safe now. It's out of the way. If a monster moves onto a space where another stationary monster is, then the stationary monster is destroyed. If there are ever less than 3 monsters on the board at the start of another player's turn, they must spawn more monsters until there are at least 3, and of course following the normal spawning rules. If a monster spawns on top of a player's ship, then that player is eliminated from the game. However, the good news here is that the active player does not have to roll to see if the monsters move for their turn, so that's a bonus. There is a very small chance that during a player's first turn, a monster is blocking their path of movement. If this happens, that player takes their ship and starts at a new location on the edge of the board so long as there is no other wake tile there. And now for some important things to know about moving your ship. When you place a new wake tile from your ship, if you are connecting to any other ship's wake tile, you and the other player must continue to follow their respective paths. If 2 players were to sail into each other, nothing happens and you simply pass by each other. Be careful around other players when sailing near them. They could play a tile which forces your ship to travel off the board. If another player successfully eliminates another player in this manner, they get to look at the eliminated player's hand and exchange their own tiles for the eliminated player's tiles, still keeping their hand to a maximum of 3 tiles. Gameplay will continue like this until there is 1 player left alive. That person is the winner. Those are all the essentials you need to play.